Good night. Have one done tonight. God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Irma J. Spirit Divine. I'm here to give you a word on tonight, and the topic gonna be God is in the mix when you're in your storm. Just like He was in the mix with the Israelite, and I just talked about that, preached on that yesterday. So this story gonna be about that God will be in the mix of your storm, just like He was with the Israelite. So when we come through. When we come through times, when we come through times of pain and suffering and shame, God is there to rejoice over us. Because when you go through so much, going through so much, God will be right there because He cares for every last one of us. Perhaps even more precious is the knowledge that God is there during difficult times. When we think God is not there in our hard time, He's right there. He watching over us, and He listens to every cry that we do. So during the time that we feel exhausted from home, as a caring God, He walks beside us, and His whisper of assurance erase our sorrow and quiet our fear. The Lord had taken away thy judgment. He had cast out thy enemy, the king of Israel. The Lord is in the mix, and He will cast out your enemy, and when God you will see when God is in the mix, and you will not see your enemies no more. See, when God is in the mix, just like He told the Israelites, He told them, don't be afraid, because the enemies that you see, the Egyptians that you see right now, you will not see them no more. And He meant that because they was under the Red Sea. So the same way that He did for the Israelites, He'll do the same thing for us. God said, you will never see your enemies again. They will never harm you again. God said, don't fear. Fear not. God is in the mix of the mighty hand. Now He will save, and He will rejoice over thee with joy. And He will rest in His love, and He will have joy over thee with singing. Now we'll see when God step in. When God step in, He will undo all that afflict you. He will deal with all who oppress you. He will deal with all who shame you. Our storm will never last, but come to pass. It's always a season. And sometimes that season be a long time. It's like it's never gonna end. But our storm always a season. The God would promise that your darkest moment are happy ever after will end. He said He will end. Tell me that all the time. This too shall come to pass. So when God is in the mix, God will heal. He will heal you. He will save you. He will encounter and restore you from your trials and tribulation. Especially you done went through so much. You know, you will need all kind of healing and everything else. So God would do that. Because I know I'm gonna need some healing and everything, especially when you've been in your storm for a long period of time. Now I will give them praise and honor in every land where they were put to shame at. Now see, whoever put you to shame, God said, I'm going to take you to every last one of those lands that whoever put shame on you, you know, I will give them praise and honor in every land where they will put you shame at, because God said, whoever oppress you, whoever shame you, I'm going to take you to that land. So now we see that God is in the mix. And God said, I will praise and honor you in every, and see, God will bless you in front of your enemy. God said, I will praise and honor you in every land, whoever has shamed you. That's what God said. He said, I will praise you and I will honor you in every land that has shamed you. Now, God is in the mix, and He will set a table for you wherever you were shamed at. That's where that table going to be at. And so God said, I am who I am that will fight for you. Not see all that you may endure pain and suffering, but God will restore your fortune right before your very eyes. And that's what they keep telling me. You know, you in pain and suffering right now, but you just don't know. God can hear you right before your eyes. He'll bless you so much that you will forget what kind of pain and suffering you was in. So 2 Chronicles 20:15. Now the Spirit of the Lord came upon Jahaziel, and he said, listen, all who live in Judea and Jerusalem, this is what the Lord said. Do not be afraid or discouraged because of the vast army, for the battle is not yours, but God. Now see that God always tells us that the battle is not ours. The battle belongs to God. But we always trying to fight our battle, but it's not our battle to fight. It's not our battle to fight. God said the battle belongs to Him. So that's why we in our trials and tribulation. God gonna always step in. He gonna always be in the mix. Because He said tomorrow. Now He already told them, I'm gonna praise and honor you in every land whoever shamed you. Now He said tomorrow, march down against them. Say, go down to them. They will be climbing up by the pass of Zion, and you will find them at the end of the garage in the desert of Jura. Now God said they're going to be climbing all up the wall. He said, you ain't got to be scared of your enemy. You go ahead on. Tomorrow you go march down. And He said, you will not have to fight this battle. Take up your position and stand firm, and you will see the deliverance the Lord will give you. Judah and Jerusalem, do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. Go out to face them tomorrow. Now God tell you, you go among your enemies. You go face them. Go face them, because I'm going to be with you. I'm going to be in the mix of everything that's going on. And just like He told the Israelites when they was free. He told them, you going through your enemies. You going through their land, you even try to get to your land. But then they had to take a U-turn because Pharaoh was right behind. So they had to cross the Red Sea to get to where they was going. So go out to face them tomorrow, and the Lord will be with you. See, God gonna always tell you to go out there. I'm gonna be with you. He said, I'm gonna be with you. Now we see that God gets in the mix. Now He said, don't be afraid or discouraged. I will be with you and fight your battle because it belongs to me. So now we see that God is in the mix with the Israelites and brought deliverance for them. So the Israelite was free, but Pharaoh came after them again, and they was afraid. I just preached on that yesterday. And they was afraid. So God had delivered them from their enemy, from all the Egyptians. So when the Israelites saw that Pharaoh was after them again, Moses said, do not be afraid. Stand firm and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today. The Egyptian that you see today, you will not see again. And he meant that. They did not see that Egyptian again. Because every last one of us was under that Red Sea. No one survived. So when God says you ain't gonna see your enemy no more, you're not gonna see him no more. If he tell you don't be afraid, don't be afraid. Because he always say, I'm gonna go with you. God gonna go with you and he gonna go ahead of you. To see how your path is. He gonna check out everything. Every time you in a battle, he always say, I'm gonna go ahead of you. And he always was fighting the Israelite battle. Because when you favor, you're gonna always have enemies. So Israelite always had enemies. But God always fight their battle and God gonna also get his glory. So the Lord is in the mix and he will fight for you. And you need only to be still. The Lord put Pharaoh and all his army under the Red Sea. And the Israelites did not see them no more, just like God said. You will not see the Egyptians no more. So don't be afraid. And they didn't see them no more. God put them under the Red Sea. We see when God is in the mix, we don't have to be afraid. Just like he told the Israelite, you will never see your enemies again. And he meant that. He meant that. Now God gets in the mix because the battle belongs to him. Now he will also get his glory off of our battle. He will get his glory off of our battle. So we see that God was always in the mix with the Israelite. And he also be in the mix for us. You know, including me, all us. When we in the storm, we all panic and we get scared. And we always trying to fight ourselves. And that's why we cannot, that's why the storm be too big for us, because we trying to fight ourselves. And we just cause more harm and it just start spraying and spraying water. So that's why God said, always, turn the battle over to him. Let him fight our battle because he already know a battle gonna take place because he wrote the story. He wrote the story. He wrote the plan from the beginning to the end. So he already know what's gonna happen. That's why he always tell us don't be afraid because he wrote the plan. He wrote the plan. He know the beginning to the end. But we all still be afraid. The Israelites was afraid. They look back and saw Pharaoh after them again when they just was released from being free. And so Moses told them, don't be afraid. You're gonna see the deliverance that God gonna bring to you. And he did just that. You know. So we have to realize that God gonna always be in the mix of our storm. He gonna always be in the mix of our storm. Even though it took 430 years to rescue the Israelites. But when they was released after 430 years, everything was still on track. No matter how long God take, everything still get on track. You know, because he map out every story, every battle. He map it out. So we have to remember God will always be in the mix of our stuff. Even when he's quiet, even when you don't hear from him, he always putting the pieces together. Always behind the scene. And sometimes when we going straight, sometimes he might have to make a U-turn. Because when things change, 'cause see that's why he always go ahead of us. To know our path, what's on our path. And when something trying to erupt our past, then we have to take another route. That's why he go before us, so he can let us know what's going on. I mean, he don't let us know what's going on. Because God do things in his way, his own special timing, and his way is the best way. You know, so we see that God is in the mix, and God will always be in the mix of our stone because the stone belongs to God. You know, and just like he had told him, he said, be still. You know, Be still, you will see the deliverance that I will give your enemies. Your enemies that you see right now, you will not see them again. You know, and we see that made history. God had got the glory off of them, you know. So he got the glory off of that. You know, so God always gonna be in the mix of our storm. And we just have to let God take over. I know I'm talking to myself too. You know, we always say we're gonna let him take over. But then when that rough time comes, we lash out and trying to handle it in our own way. You know, so I hope y'all enjoy this word. And always remember we're not alone in our storm. God is always with us. You know, He always fighting our storm. You know. So I hope y'all have a blessed night and I'll see y'all on the next video.